going to make Indianapolis even more dangerous offensively. If Peyton Manning commits to running the football down here, which he said he wants to.
They have more yardage if they don't take half the distance.
Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Number 55. Replay first down.
Suggs again. Yeah, he's just guessing. You know, I mean, he's trying to make something happen, and you don't have to with this defense. Just play the defense. You've got enough stars on this thing.
See, the center, Jeff Saturday, can play games with him. He can lift his head up once. He can lift his head up a couple of times. I give him an awful lot of credit for running this offense over the ball with this much noise going on.
One of the best centers in the league and a very smart guy. First and goal from the 2. Manning throws it away, and Utech, the tight end, looks like he was hurt. Dallas Clark is not able to play because of a concussion. Marcus Pollard, the other long-term tight end, left as a free agent.
But Utech is running across the end zone, and Ed Reed is there. And you saw the collision, and you're saying, well, why isn't there a flag? Because Ed Reed had position, and so did Utech. He's going for the ball. There was no foul. Ed Reed's hurt.
Last year, every one of his wide receivers had double-digit touchdown receptions. The tight ends managed to get 11, so that position had double digits as well.
26 seconds to go in the first half. Ed Reed looks like he's going to be all right. So does Utech.
Look at Utech. They just collide. They're both going for the ball. Ed Reed has got position. There's no foul here. But Ed Reed was limping. They took a timeout, and the reason that he can stay in the game is
because they took the timeout.
Thank you very much.
Second and goal. James, no. Clock running. They'll stop it at 20.
It's interesting. The Baltimore Ravens are built to run the football. The Indianapolis Colts offensive line I'm talking about is really built to pass block. I mean, you get two very different styles of offense.
Coming up at the half, we'll join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show. He'll have the fastest 3 minutes in football. New Orleans, what an emotional win for the Saints today. And highlights of the U.S. Open men's final all coming up on the Kia halftime show.
And this is one of the best 30 minutes I've watched it with no score.
Talking about
it's marvelous.
Talking about the New Orleans Saints, a lot of people pick the Carolina Panthers at home to be able to be in a Super Bowl. They expect them to be a very good football team. And New Orleans goes into Carolina with everything that they've done down there. Jim Haslett deserves so much credit, and every one of those players do as well.
To be able to focus, it was remarkable. Third and goal. Colts have one timeout left.
Got to go play action. I think he has to go play action.
Harrison almost picked by McAllister. He would have gone 99 yards.
That is,
holy cow.
That's the second ball that the defensive backs have had a chance to get. Now, McAllister looks like he may have hurt himself as well. He jammed a finger earlier. Now, he tries to catch this. It goes right through his hands. Now, right here, he comes up a little bit lame as he heads towards the sidelines.
Actually, where he touched that ball, he'd have gone 101, and McAllister's the guy who set the NFL record with a 107-yard return of a missed field goal.
Of course, Ed Reed had one, what, 104 last year, I believe?
And now they bring on Vanderjagt, and he will try the field goal. The Ravens take a timeout with 20. It will be a 20-yard attempt by Vanderjagt.
Wow, Chris McAllister has got to be absolutely sick. And Ray Lewis continues to preach to his defense.
And Peyton Manning is close to being sick.
I tell you, you want to talk about taking a sigh of relief because all he could see was 7 the other way. I mean,
well, if he had
they only had the one wide receiver out.
And he didn't get the football first.
Wow.
These defensive backs, don't drop many footballs.
No, they don't.
When I've been watching practice for the last month, it seems like, of the Ravens, because I did a game. But, you know, he breaks on it perfectly. It's not like he gets his head around late. He's got his head around. He's right there. It's almost like Peyton is throwing it to him. It goes right through his hands.
The Ravens have missed the field goal. Now it's Vanderjagt's turn. And he does not miss. And the Colts take a 3-0 lead with 15 seconds to go in the half. And that's really a victory for that Ravens defense, holding Indianapolis to a field goal. Really been some key plays in a game that's 3-0. You wouldn't think so. Stover, the veteran, misses a field goal just outside the upright. And Billick knows he's not going to get too many opportunities. Then Marvin Harrison on a blown coverage overthrown by a half a step. That would have been an easy touchdown. And then McAllister drops a sure interception that he would have returned 101 yards to put the Ravens on top. But right now it stands 3-0 Colts.
I still think what becomes a factor in this game, and probably for the Raven defense, is the intensity with which they played in the first half. What about the conditioning factor? These guys have not played 60 minutes of football. In the third preseason game, you play about a half. So they're right about it where their bodies have been. Now it's just a question of how hard did you train in the offseason to carry you through this particular first game.
Was it tough for you in the first game of the regular season?
I was a little guy. I know, not really, but I know our defensive front had a problem with it. Our big guys up front got a little gassed.
Paul, did you have a problem in the first game of the year? Of course, you guys played a lot of preseason games.
6.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, yeah, but we got in shape in camp.
Justin Green on the return of the squib.
I used to win about 225 and get down to 224.
Now, if you're the Ravens, what do? You have 11 seconds.
At least 2 plays you have if you want to take shots. I think if you throw a 12-yard completion, somebody gets out of bounds, you still have a chance.
But I'll tell you one thing. You made a statement that this Ravens offensive line, they're built to run the football. I agree with you 100%. They are. But I'll tell you, when this kid goes back to pass, I mean, he's looking at white shirts flying all around Kyle Bowler.
He's looking at one white shirt.
Yeah, but those
number 93.
But he's making it possible. He's making it possible for everybody else to get there.
They added 5 yards to this return because the Colts were offside. The new rule this year, they just tack it on. Bowler out of the shotgun. 4-man rush. Deep over the middle, and it's dropped right in Clarence Moore's hands. Holy cow.
What a throw by Kyle Bowler, and that definitely would have put him in field goal range. He would have been able to get out of bounds, would have been able to stop the clock, and
it would have been a 48-yarder.
No question. Matt Stover well within his range. He's 9 out of 10 between 40 and 49 yards.
And boy, what a good throw.
Now you almost have to try and make the same kind of a throw and get the same amount of distance.
They're going 3 wide with Heap on this side all alone. Now they got a penalty. Movement. That helps. The defense, not the offense.
False start, 84. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
You know,
Second down.
This is one of those penalties that really absolutely drive you crazy. You got 3 wide receivers to one side. You're going to throw the ball deep. Everybody's going deep. What are you doing moving? I mean, you're not going anywhere,
It's a good question.
Let me say this about Clarence Moore. I've watched through the course of this football game. He is not very comfortable catching the football. He's trying to cradle him. He's trying to make it too perfect to catch. And I'm afraid he's going to start fighting himself when he tries to catch the balls, especially after the last drop.
Only 5 seconds left. Bowler deep over the middle. Little hook and ladder play.
They got to score because time went out.
Time runs out. The ball's still alive. And now we're done. The Ravens do everything they can, but time expires on the last play. What a first half. A tremendous defense against a tremendous offense. And we end up with a 3-0 score. The Colts on top of the Ravens. A battle of wills here in Baltimore. The score here at M&T Bank Stadium, 3-0 Colts. Let's join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And so the age-old question of what happens when the irresistible force meets the immovable object. Thus far, advantage, immovable object. 3-0 Colts. Well, the NFL season is underway, and usually it begins with such merriment as it does. But, of course, this time around, we all begin with heavy hearts. I mean, less than 2 weeks ago, Hurricane Katrina ravaged the bayou. It was 4 years ago to the day that it was 9/11. So for this version of Fastest 3 Minutes, we salute our tribute to the human spirit. And where else would you start than with the New Orleans Saints, a team like so many residents of the city, evacuees working out San Antonio. How could they play football? Well, in Carolina, they collected a lot of money, they collected a lot of applause, and a good job by the Carolina fans, and a heck of a job by the Saints. Deuce McAllister had 2 rushing touchdowns. We're tied at 20 with 3 seconds to go. John Carney. Good night, everybody. An amazing job. A 47-yard field goal. Jim Haslett Saints do the unthinkable. More on them shortly. Congrats, 23-20. 9/11, the Giants at home. Remembering some of the fallen heroes 4 years ago. And new giant Plexico Burris was there watching. Think about this. Willie Ponder in a 21-19 game could go all the way. 95 yards. Big second half New York. They beat Arizona 42-19. Other New York team, the Jets, not so fortunate in Kansas City. Grandmama Larry Johnson, 110 yards. Priest Holmes, 85 yards. Chiefs roll the Jets 27-7, 6 fumbles. Pennington, shocker in Minnesota. Dante Culpepper and the Vikings picked off by Brian Kelly. 3 picks, 2 fumbles, and the Buccaneers can go up north where they rarely win, even indoors. They often call him Speedo, but his real name is Mr. Earl. Rookie Cadillac Williams, touchdown, Bucks over the Vikes, 24-13. New coaches, 3 of them. Nick Saban in Miami. Dolphins won 4 times all last year, but Gus Frerotte to Marty Booker. Frerotte, 275 yards. Denver didn't lose all August. They lost today, 34-10. Saban gave all 53 Dolphins game balls. Romeo Crennel, new coach Cleveland. Cross-state rival Cincinnati. Carson Palmer dumps to Jeremy Johnson. Marvin Lewis, the winner on opening day for the first time in 3 years. 27-13 Cincinnati. Mike Nolan, San Francisco. Offensive lineman Thomas Herron passed away a month ago after a preseason game. Given no chance against the Rams. Otis Amy, 75 yards, a shocker at the stick. The Niners, the only team in the division to win, beat the Rams 28-25. Ben Roethlisberger, yet to lose a regular season game. To Antoine Randall L, 63 yards. Steelers roll Tennessee 34-7. New era in Buffalo. J.P. Lossman wearing the uniforms that Jack Kemp and Paul McGuire wore for the 65 championship. AFL Bills. Lossman and Jason Peters. Bills beat the Texans 22-7. Packers at Lions. Joey Harrington to #1 pick Mike Williams. Touchdown. Lions over the Pack 17-3. Javon Walker may be lost for the year with an ACL. Cowboys, Chargers, Drew Bledsoe. Keyshawn Johnson. 28-24 Dallas in San Diego. 4th and goal. Chargers for the win. But Aaron Glenn with the pick. Dallas holds on for the 28-24 win. Seahawks at Jacksonville. Very hot. Byron Leftwich to Jimmy Smith. Awfully hot. Big day for him. 2 TDs. Jags over Seattle 26-14. Bears at Redskins. Ramsey knocked out in a defensive struggle. 121 yards for Clinton Portis of the Skins, who went on 3 John Hall field goals over the Bears, 9-7.
This halftime show is presented by Kia Motors, the power to surprise.
When a 3-0 nail-biter, Colts lead.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited. Copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
told you at the start of the game, the emotion would be tremendous for opening night in Baltimore. Ray Lewis and company against Peyton Manning, the most dangerous offense in the league, against arguably the most wicked defense. And it's been that kind of a half. Only 3-0 after 2 quarters of play here in Baltimore. Sellout crowd of more than 70,000. The Colts will get the ball to start the second half. Carthon taken out of bounds shy of the 20. We said it was going to be a matchup between Ray Lewis and Peyton Manning. Certainly, there are far more people involved in that. I mean, everybody has played so solidly in this game. But that's what it comes down to, the 2 superstars.
Well, when you look at the defense, they have done for the Baltimore Ravens everything that they had to do, except one thing, Joseph. They haven't scored. And if they score, they may be able to win the ball game. I'm talking about the defense. If they score, they can win.
And I think Peyton Manning has had opportunities to make plays. He missed Marvin Harrison with one. He also got a gift back from Chris McAllister when he had a chance to go 100+ at the end of the half. So Peyton has been very patient, and I think he has to stay that way and count on his defense to play the way they have been playing.
And that's the other thing that's happened tonight. The Colts defense has been terrific, as Paul pointed out earlier. Edger and James with the rush, brought down by Kelly Gregg. Let's go to Susie.
Mike, I talked to Tony Dungy. He said all that movement from the Ravens defense, of course they expected it. What they need to do are more quick counts at the line. Just get up, call a play. And of course, Brian Billick, thrilled with his defense.
They've got to be thrilled with it every week, especially now that they're back in the 4-3, which seems to be perfect for them. And that's the second time a pass has gone by Ben Utecht, the tight end, that he didn't get his head around in time to even see it.
And that's just a product of not working with Peyton Manning. We talked about it in the first half. He had such a comfort level with Marcus Pollard, who is now in Detroit. And then you take it with Dallas Clark. He's another one he felt good about, who's on the sidelines. They expect Dallas Clark to play next week. He had a concussion, and it's a safety precaution because he's not playing.
And what a tremendous weapon he is.
Look at this defense. They got two down guys, and everybody, no, one down guy, no. Now they got two down guys.
Shifting everywhere. Blitz coming from the right. Manning running away from pressure and does the smart thing, throws it away.
Peter Boulware was going to try the free agent market. Didn't play all last year, had various types of injuries. Finally came back to the Ravens and said, look, okay, I thought I'd be a 60-play guy. You think I'm going to be a 20-play pass rusher? I agree with you. I'd like to come back here and play. Interestingly enough, they didn't give anybody the number 58 when they came to camp. It was still Peters to have.
And he is the all-time sack leader for this franchise, 67.5. Sams from the 38. Got a wall set up on the near side, can't get there. And the Colts cover it better. Back near midfield, however, a 12-yard return after a 44-yard punt. Jamal Lewis and company will go back to work when we return to Baltimore.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
برنامج على الهواء والانتخابات الرئاسية المصرية.
المعركة الانتخابية
تفاصيل نتائج ما بعد الانتخابات الرئاسية المصرية. أضواء على المستقبل السياسي في مصر في أعقاب الانتخابات الرئاسية. على الهواء من السبت إلى الأربعاء الساعة 6 مساء بتوقيت غرينتش على قناة الصفوة والقناة الإعلامية.
Is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. NikeGridiron.com. Miller Lite, great taste, less filling. Miller, good call. And Two for the Money, starring Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey, and Rene Russo. In theaters everywhere, October 7th.
Last night, the city of Baltimore commemorated its role in the War of 1812 in front of Fort McHenry. The facility and its soldiers were the inspiration for the writing of our national anthem by Francis Scott Key. Great field position for the Ravens. They started their own 49.
You were collaborating on that.
That was the guy that made sure the spelling was correct. Yes.
Jamal Lewis has gained only 35 yards rushing tonight. The Colts defense done a great job against the run. This is a completion of the tight end Dan Wilcox, who can be used as a wide receiver.
I think that this drive is critical for the Baltimore Ravens. Great field position. They've missed an opportunity on a field goal earlier. You can't continue to get this kind of field position against the Colts and come away with no points, because percentages say that Peyton Manning's going to get a touchdown at some point in time. Even though he hasn't yet, you just can't weigh so much on your defense.
But what an improvement for Indianapolis. They were 29th in the league a year ago. Bowler straight down the middle. Jump ball, no good. Good coverage by Jason David, who's starting at corner tonight.
I like the
Clarence Moore was the intended receiver.
Yeah, you talk about great coverage. Jason David played this thing absolutely perfectly, and he just waited and waited and waited. He was in front of Clarence Moore, and he slowed down. Look at this. Look at him playing the ball. And he just slowed down. Now Clarence Moore has no chance to get the ball.
See, and I think Clarence Moore, as he develops, will do a better job of learning how to position his body. Cal Bowler will put the ball in a position where he can use his height.
That's 5'8" against 6'6".
Just throw it up short. Let him go get it.
Here they come. Maybe.
Bowler out in the flat. They've got a first down. Good catch by the rookie Mark Clayton out of Oklahoma, their first-round draft choice, who was very good after the catch, something the Ravens couldn't do worth a darn last year.
Well, yeah, I tell you, they talk about this guy about great hands and then run after the catch. Look at this. And what you have to do here, watch this. Here's a double team on Freeney. Jonathan Ogden is getting help from the fullback, which he needs.
Yeah, Jonathan doesn't care. He doesn't have an ego that says, I want to block the guy one-on-one. Block him somehow.
Fake to Lewis. Pressure up the middle. Bowler throws way too high for Derek Mason.
This offense really didn't resemble any kind of big play offense. Last year, Kevin Johnson had 35 catches. Travis Taylor had 34. And Chester Taylor had 30. They had absolutely no ability to catch the ball and do anything with it after they got it. As a matter of fact, Derek Mason's 96 catches totaled the 3 guys that were on the top list for the Ravens.
Well, they were 31st passing, 31st overall. This is a running team. Bowler, short set.
You know,
and out of bounds in front of Harper is Derek Mason.
You know what's amazing is that they talk about, well, Todd Heap wasn't here last year.
Right.
Well, he's caught 1 pass tonight. They've only thrown the ball to him, I think, 1 time.
But his presence, Paul, I think makes a difference. Defenses now have to play the tight end position. Last year, they really didn't. And also, remember, Jamal Lewis missed, 5 games, almost 5 full games as well. So, they've got weapons that defenses have to be responsible for.
Big play here, 3rd and 5. Receivers bunched to the right side. Bowler back to throw again over the middle. That's going to be short of a first down. Mason made the catch, but the Colts defense got there quickly.
Kick it.
It'll be 4th and a yard.
Kick it.
You got to kick it.
Got to kick it.
I mean, it's a very makeable field goal that would tie the ball game, and here comes Matt Stover.
Well, you have to, because of one thing above anything else. If they would go for it and miss against this Colt team, that would fire that team up more than they need to be fired up.
Not only that, you're missing a chance to put points on the board. I mean, you've got to get them.
Stover has missed once from 38. This will be from 47. And it hooks wide left.
Same exact spot he missed the last one at.
So the reliable 16-year veteran has missed twice. It's still 3-0.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
المركز الرياضي برنامج يحجز لكم تذكرة شبه يومية إلى المحافل الدولية. بوابة للحوار حول الأحداث والقضايا الرياضية. خدمة إخبارية متميزة تضعكم دائما في الصفوف الأمامية. المركز الرياضي يبث من الاثنين إلى الجمعة مباشرة على الرياضية.
This September, Cinema City brings you a brand new season of silver screen premieres.
Haven't I always taken care of you?
Come on, let's have some kicks.
And don't forget about me.
Wednesday nights are loaded with action.
Take your best shot! What?
And jam-packed with the stars to match.
You were the best.
There you go.
You're a heavyweight.
Now we're cool.
Thursdays, you'll be falling down with laughter when you catch some of the funniest men on film.
All right, let's go.
Break your neck!
Friday nights, emotions ride high.
This has catastrophe written all over it.
Let's try to keep our eye on the ball, okay?
As top drawer drama captures the stage.
What we're attempting to do here is to check the government's attempt to abridge our civil liberties.
You lie.
Now what does that sound like to you? A challenge. I ain't challenged nobody.
Premieres galore and a great new season of Just Great Movies this September, only on Cinema City.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Yes, and HD. And at 9 Eastern on ABC's Monday Night Football, watch Donovan McNabb and T.O. take the field together when the Philadelphia Eagles challenge Michael Vick and the Falcons in a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Colts, after the missed field goal, will start from their own 37. The Ravens' defense has been tough, but they haven't forced the issue. And Edgerrin James battles for a couple until Anthony Weaver makes the tackle. You have to look for these, a negative graphic on Peyton Manning. 6 points in the last 7 quarters, no touchdowns in 68 passes. That goes all the way back through the playoff loss to the Patriots. Mark that carefully. You're not going to see many of those. Pointing directly at Ray Lewis. Lewis looks around, signals to Ed Reed, who drops back.
Oh, he's got time.
Manning, Stokely can't come up with it.
Well, Dallas Thomas is an incredibly versatile part of this defense. He had 8 sacks a year ago, 4 forced fumbles. Now he goes back into pass coverage, and he almost gets a shot at breaking up a play. I mean, he's back 10 yards into pass coverage.
He's 270. How athletic is that?
Well, that's the versatility of this defense. They've got ends that have been linebackers in college or have that kind of ability. And look, nobody on the Raven defense is in a 2- or 3-point stance until Manning gets set.
Peyton has missed his last 4.
He calls timeout.
1 defensive lineman. They're doing everything they can to play with that offense.
Major League Baseball.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Every year, every season, young players dream of making it to the next level. But the road is long and hard, and it all begins here. College football now airing every week on Orbit ESPN.
Every Sunday and Monday, enjoy the perfect match with Pizza Hut and Super Movies.
Thieves that steal more than they bargained for.
We have to get him. We've got no choice.
Hitmen that want to quit.
Girls like that, they don't go for guys like in your line of work.
You don't know what it's like to kill someone.
And a target that just won't die.
He's old. It'd be easy.
A comedy about bad things that can only get worse.
We are going to die in this place.
Trigger Man, Sunday at these times, new and exclusive on Super Movies. When the news is hot.
Lisa, you will be the on-air voice for this story.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, Lisa, try this. Still no news on that disabled train. Back with more in 8 minutes.
The staff have lost the plot.
You know, you really don't have to call me boss.
I know, I just do it sarcastically because it amuses me.
Then what have you got?
Oh my God.
Emmy Award-winning comedy. News Radio, Saturdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Rio time on Super Comedy.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Never 71,000 people enjoyed a 3-0 game more than they have tonight in Baltimore. This has been spectacular.
Well, they have enjoyed a little more if they had the 3.
They would. It's a big 3rd down and long for Peyton Manning.
Now you've got 10 guys, 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and only 1 or 2 are backing out.
And they end up rushing 4. Manning steps up. Edgerrin James tried to short arm to get it. There is a flag down in the secondary.
And if this is against the defense, this is a 1st down.
It would be 30 yards away from the play.
Exactly.
And it would be defensive holding or contact.
I'll tell you one thing. This is the first
Illegal
time.
use of the hands, hands to the face, 24, defense while the quarterback was in the pocket. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
That's Dale Carter, the 4-time Pro Bowler. Instead of getting the ball back on a punt, they give him an automatic 1st down.
There it is. You see it? Yes. There's no question about it. It's on Stokely. He puts his hands in his face, and you cannot do that. But I'll tell you one thing. You very rarely ever see Edgerrin James short arm the ball. But I'll tell you, he saw Ray Lewis coming.
Well, he was trying to make a move, too. He wanted to catch that ball and turn inside. And the Colts take advantage of that break. They bring 5. Wayne, nice decision just to lower his head and get what he could. He's within a half a yard of the sticks and into Ravens territory.
What you're seeing out of Peyton Manning is something he really tried to do a year ago. Be a much more patient quarterback. Take the underneath receivers if they're there. Don't try and force the big play. That's what he's done tonight against this Raven defense.
Edgerrin James has the 1st down. Tough run down to the 42. Peyton Manning has to be more prepared than any other player of any position than I can ever remember.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think every quarterback in this league has to prepare. I think a Tom Brady, for example, has to do that, Mike. I understand what you're saying, but Peyton is very dramatic around the line of scrimmage. That doesn't mean that other guys don't prepare.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Tell me then, please.
You said he is the most prepared guy I have ever been around.
I agree.
Stokely.
Boy, does he have great hands, Stokely. Did you watch him just look the ball in and snatch it with his hands, turn up the field? I mean, first of all, Peyton Manning escapes, and then watch Stokely. Carter's on him. He just watch the athlete. Look at his hands. His hands, I mean, just as soft as you could possibly be.
Keep in mind, he has not played football.
7 catches, 83 yards. Reed came in to hit the running back almost before he got the ball.
This is Brandon Stokely's 1st game since Tokyo. Got hurt in the first practice 6 weeks ago.
Watch Edgerrin James. You want to see some balance? Ed Reed's coming in on the left. He is almost knocked off his feet. Gets back up and picks up 3 yards on that play. That's incredible.
Manning deep. Harrison. Touchdown.
Oh.
What a throw.
There was the pump and go.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
he'd been setting it up all night.
He set up that one pass play through the entire first half of the football game. He'd continue to throw little short posts, he'd throw little hooks. He kept throwing them and throwing them and throwing them. That's when he had the opportunity he wanted. There's the pump, and what a terrific throw. Now, Chris McAllister thinks he has a shot at this and just mistimes his jump, and Marvin Harrison doesn't.
You ever see a place go quiet? 72,000 people shut up.
There are only so many times you can stop that guy from burning you to death.
Well, the thing about it is Chris McAllister, through this entire ball game, Joe, up until this point in time, has had a great game against Marvin Harrison. He has covered him all over the field.
That was the 83rd time they have hooked up for a touchdown in their career.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
No one plays the game like them. For them, it's a way of life. Skills, thrills, attacking flair. That's what